Welcome to day 5 of 12 days of creating Christmas edition. I'm Kristen. I am the creator behind Simply Joy by Kristen, and I am so glad you are here. Welcome back if you've been following along on this series, and welcome if this is your first time. I truly am so thankful that you stopped by. We've been working through the inspiration basket, and it's time to pull out what we are going to use today. As I was going through, I decided, you know what? What if we did some pairing together? So that led me to pulling out 4 items, 2 snowmen and 2 spools of thread. If you guessed that I'm going to create another little scene, you are absolutely correct. So I needed to figure out what I was going to use for my base, and I remember my sister found these for me, and they were perfect. Normally, when I make this snow mixture up, which is from DIY vintage linen paint and the DIY frosting, and mix it together, it is just a really cool way to add that texture of snow. It's currently my favorite recipe that I'm using, but I didn't want to have to worry about covering every little surface, and so I painted a thin layer of the vintage linen on the wood bases, and I only used the snow to cover where the tree at the bottom, the little bases of that. I then attached one of the small trees to the thread, which I think was adorable. Like, it gives it that vintage look. The red ties in with the snowman, and I think it's perfect. I have really been trying to use what I have fun with the stash that I've collected. But every once in a while, you come across something and you're like, I think I could use that. And that was what I found with this little mason jar of, I'm going to call them faux snowballs. They are essentially styrofoam balls that have a little extra maybe flocking or a little extra dimension on them. And I ended up getting 2 containers of this because I used them in my Merry Little Christmas ornament party I did last month. And so I had a ton. And because I had so many, I just had to, I had a blast just using them. I think sometimes we hang too tightly to things, and I think these snowballs were so perfect. I love that with the bottle brush trees that I could bend back to fill in, but you're going to see that I added a lot to both of them. I know what I like. And so when this was on top of a Christmas gift last year, I knew I could reuse it. I didn't know how or when, but today is the day. It created the cutest little scarf on my little mini snowmans I decided to add to this scene. They weren't planned. They were a happy accident. I used a toothpick to connect the 2 sizes of the styrofoam balls or the faux snowballs. Now I'm adding little eyes, a little face, and then I'm going to take a swipe of orange paint just to create a itty bitty nose. Honestly, I loved these scenes already, but this took it over the top. It was like the sprinkles, and might have been my favorite part of the whole thing. I think these snowmen are so cute. They actually remind me of some that I gifted my mom when I was younger. I always like to buy her snowman, and these kind of just bring back that nostalgic feeling. And I'm going to show you what they started with and how they turned out. I would love to hear your thoughts on these 2 little scenes, and I hope to see you for day 6, which will be in 2 days. My schedule is every even day all the way up to Christmas Eve. And my friend, thank you so much for being here. And if you're new, thank you for being here. I have enjoyed this, and you know my heart is that this inspires you to create just for you.